There's something quite therapeutic and very enjoyable about city to summit rides, especially if the sun is shining and both the city and the hills are as stunning as the ones you're going to see, and hopefully I do justice to in this short film. This is by far my favourite view of the Guggenheim from this bridge. There is a small pedestrian bridge which I didn't really want to cycle over directly in front of it, but this is a fantastic viewpoint. As we set off from that very bridge, it introduces quite nicely one of the reasons I'll get into in this video about why I like the Strada so much. And one of them is it's just got that superbike status. I've had many superbikes in the past, and they'll get the odd bit of attention and nod from the connoisseur. But the design and the innovation and even just the paint that goes into the 3T make it a very special bike. And it's for this and many other reasons that the only two bikes that 3T have ever made are in the top 10 bikes of the decade by Road CC. Another in this extended tour of the surroundings of the Guggenheim is the sheer comfort. I'm bouncing over cobbles here either at the beginning or at the end of a ride, and it just shakes them off as if they're nothing. If it weren't the middle of winter, you could have a full-on water slalom here, but let's not today. At 6 degrees. So I suppose we better get to those hills. But just before we do, I want to show you a quick other side of Bilbao as you head out towards the hills. There's the whole heavy industrial past which previously gained Bilbao the accolade of being an ugly city, but is actually quite beautiful in itself as well. Mainly because this industry is no longer in use. And then all of a sudden, as if by magic, you're transported to the green of the base of the hills. A lot of this route follows an old train track and a river. What you notice most as you start disconnecting from the city and getting out into the country is the amount of waterfalls that you cross and the stunning light. All too often as cyclists, when we're road cycling, we don't stop enough to take in our surroundings. And if you happen to be in Spain as well, the sound of barking dogs. It's so easy and comfortable to put the hammer down and cruise at 30 or 40 on this bike. Okay, so I did say this route follows an old train track for a lot of its route, and so I do warn you, there are a few trains in this video. Past this train track and the bridge behind it, we leave the trains behind, fortunately, because we head to even bigger hills and even better views. And one of these views is in the next valley. It's hard to get over in film just how stunning this is, partially because the smoke that you see is obviously a lot more stunning in real life, but the smell of a burning fire and the countryside as you head into the hills, for me, is unbeatable.
Aquí están los bares buenos.
Running Wombai, it's easy to forget, but you can still stuff up the gears. This is the first time, I promise, that I've actually stuffed up the gears in over 3 years of Wombai. Very different from a 2x experience. And remember, this is New Year's Day, after only about 4 hours sleep. Finding a bar that's open on New Year's Day can be hard work. In Orduña or Arceñaga, there is a particular delicacy, if you want to call it that, of a whole chorizo inside a bread roll. Once out of Arceñaga, after your bread roll or not, you're in for a bit of a climb, but some of the most stunning scenery, especially off to the right, where you can see the whole port of Orduña and beyond into Castile, and it is really quite stunning, as you'll see, or at least try to capture in some of these pictures.
Sí. ¿Sabes la canción, no?